Hi, my name's Jason.
And I'm Carmen.
We're from Elevated Experience Camping down at Willey West Campground, where we make Alberta camping and Alberta glamping great. Today we're going to talk about
Women entrepreneurs.
I have a fun fact. Did you know that 67% of all women surveyed that were say that they learned leadership from other women?
Awesome. And I'm going to do the quote today. And our quote today is, all dreams can come true. You just have to have the courage to pursue them.
Today, Carmen, I want to congratulate you on a phenomenal little experience you just finished having by being this month's Woman Entrepreneur on AWE.
Yeah, that is true. Since Jason and I took on the venture of wanting to own a campground, I had connected with the Alberta Women Entrepreneur of Alberta, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the success of women owning and pursuing small businesses. And they provide a lot of different programs to women that are pursuing businesses or have started up their business and are just wanting to grow their business. One of the things that I did right off the bat was I actually went to a bunch of their workshops on marketing and how to just make your business plan and your, of course, financial plan. And then I spent some time with their consulting services, which is also a free service, just to kind of know that I'm in the right direction and that people had interest in the concept that we wanted to do for the campground.
On that note, I think you met some very important people. So let's do a little bit of a shout out to those people. So let's start with Patrick Cummings.
For sure. So through Alberta Women's Entrepreneur, they do a lot of work with Business Link. And one of the things that they offer through those two organizations is 30-minute free consultations with different professionals that can help you with your business. And so one is a 30-minute consult with different lawyers that are particularly good in business law. And so Patrick Cummings is our lawyer that I met through the two organizations. I had a 30-minute consult with him, and he understood my vision and mission. He thought the idea of pursuing more of a business lens of a campground versus sort of a mom and pop shop was very interesting, and the outdoors and the ideas that we were bringing to the table he thought was very cool, and he has been excellent to work with. He's supported us through everything that we wanted to do, and really enjoy and appreciate the work he's done for us over the last year.
And then there's three more organizations we should give a quick shout out to. Number one is Always Bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm. Well, do them all three together.
All three together? Okay, so it's Always Bookkeeping, Inspired Method Marketing, and Spurl Associates.
Yes. And so through my 30-minute consults, once I looked for lawyers, I then looked for accountants because I'm a social worker by trade, so math is the last thing I want to do. And I met Josh through my consulting. He's the owner and operator of Spurl Associates, and his firm really believes in small businesses. That's their whole sort of business model to run their accounting firm. And in that, because he's not just about accounting, he's really about making small businesses successful. He has that trifecta of a team where he has the bookkeeping that does our payroll and organizes our receipts, and then Inspired Method Marketing, which obviously is our marketing coach. And so Josh, again, was really good at sort of looking at what we wanted to do and seeing the potential and an untapped area of marketing campgrounds and building campgrounds into more of a business model versus, like I said previously, that mom and pop type of shop. So those are some of the great professionals I got to meet by linking up with Alberta Women's Entrepreneur. So I kind of said some of their programming, like I said, they have their startups, which was like trainings, like how to make your business plan and how to do your financial plans. They also have a program called Bold Leadership, which is really about just an intense online, due to COVID this year, it's now online. It's an intense set of workshops that really make you think about how to take your business to the next level. And then they have a cool little thing called Peer Spark, and that's kind of a mentor to mentor. So entrepreneurs that have been through the programs and are doing really well to help new people that either are in the planning stage or the startup stage, or struggling to get to a level that they feel they're being successful at. And then the last one is the Business Beyond Borders. And this is primarily for those entrepreneurs that can do international business.
Hey, Carmen, as this month's feature entrepreneur, I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
So, what is your area of expertise?
Well, I will be honest, camping is not it. Mm-hmm. It was never really my area of expertise, other than it was relaxing and enjoyable for me to do.
And how is that now?
A little different. But what I would say my area of expertise that I bring to the table is creativity and the ability to take an idea and transform it into something that can be successful. And I think the other area of expertise I bring is that leadership component and the ability to be concise and consistent and transparent to both staff and guests alike.
Mm-hmm. And what do you see as an exciting opportunity in this industry?
So that's kind of changed since we started this journey to now, because with everything that's happening in the world, staycations are definitely on people's minds. And I think it's a great opportunity for the tourism industry and camping to really see where we can take camping in the next couple of years, because camping has that win-win in this kind of crazy times of it is fairly easy to social distance because you're spaced out. You are in the outdoors, so you can still enjoy activities without feeling as isolated. So yeah, I would say those are some exciting opportunities. And then just from our research when we started this, that, there was really only about 3% of campgrounds doing marketing and really building a business per se. And so to me, that showed that we had lots of opportunity for growth, and that's exciting to me as well.
Perfect. And what are your challenges or threats in your industry, and how do you address it?
So I would say one of our challenges in this industry is actually our location, because we're in beautiful central Alberta, but we actually are located 5 minutes away from a predominantly oil town. And so it is, I'll be honest, kind of difficult to find the right fit of employees around here, because it is a predominantly oil field town. So wages are typically higher in this area. So I would say that's one of the difficult things that we have a challenge with. And I think, again, the other thing is weather. We depend so much on the natural elements of weather and conditions that happen naturally. And so that can be a challenge, instantly almost to us.
What kind of threats are there?
Again, nature threats. Prime example of that is we have the North Saskatchewan River right in our campground, and within 24 hours last year, we became on an hour-to-hour evacuation notice because the river rose so quickly. Again, something that is completely out of our control, but is a threat, because had it overflowed into the campground, we would have been shut down. We would have had to evacuate, lost wages, lost time, for people to camp. And the cleanup could take, can be undetermined.
Hey, Carmen, what impacts on the world would you, or change would you like to see?
So for me, one of the things that I really want to do as part of our business model and our business is really marry that building a company that is profitable and exciting and dynamic, but also equally finding a way to support the community we're in and support the vulnerable individuals and have a good mix of that.
And how would you see that happening?
So I see that happening by doing partnerships and collaborations with different organizations and businesses around Drayton Valley to support and build each other up, because I only succeed if the people around me are succeeding as well.
Is there any way that, have you already started this partnerships and collaborations?
For sure. In the first year of business, we collaborated with Beehive Support Services, which employ people with disabilities. We also collaborated with the local butcher to offer campers special packages for our campers down at the campground, so they didn't have to do their grocery shopping. It would be at their site when they came down. We did some collaborations with some different individuals that have product at the local farmers markets, and some local artisans that we sold their product in our stores.
Hey, Carmen, what other business models do you like or admire?
One that really stands out for me is early on in our strategizing and on some of our marketing meetings was our marketing coach, Trevor, talked to us about the Waldorf Hotel. And he had said that they empower their staff to go the extra mile. And in the campground, we call those our wow moments. And the example he gave is that there was a maintenance person that was in somebody's suite fixing the bathroom, and he could hear the gentleman talking to the other person in the room about how he missed getting his daily paper because, at home, because that's one of his morning routines. And so this maintenance person then, from just overhearing that, went down to the local newspaper stand and bought this gentleman his paper every morning. And that really stood out to me as wanting to do those wow moments, because I really do believe that it's the little things that people remember. It's not necessarily the big, flashy things, but it's the little things.
Can you give me a couple examples this year of maybe 2 or 3 that that happened at your campground?
Sure. So we really empowered the staff to do wow moments. So one that we started doing in the campground is we randomly picked up to 5 campsites each morning that we delivered coffee to. We just set it on the picnic table. They had no idea it was coming. We didn't make a big deal out of it. It was just that when they got up in the morning, they would have fresh coffee with all the fixings at their campsite. Another thing that a wow moment that stood out for me this year too was that we had quite a shy set of girls that worked for us, but we had a lady come in that really didn't know how to back up her trailer. And one of the girls just right off the bat was like, can I go and help? I want to go help her get her trailer into the campsite. And the lady was so just in awe of this young, teenager willing to help her back up her trailer, who also equally has never backed up a trailer, but was willing to show her. And, they got it in on the first try. And that really stood out to me, because that really resonated with her as like, I can do these cool things that I never thought I could do.
Yeah, that's really cool, because that shows, number one, Alberta camping is it's a spirit more than anything, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're going to do any Alberta camping, it should be at elevated experience camping.
For sure.
Where we also do, what else do we do?
Alberta glamping.
Oh, that's right. And how do we do it? Awesome.
Yes.
Perfect. So what do you have? Do you have any other advice for entrepreneurs?
Dream big. Often, and my husband included, I will come up with these ideas, and they may be a little rough around the edges, and people are like, that's crazy, that's not going to work. But once I sort of finesse it, most times people come around and are like, holy, she's probably right. Or it's going to work. And so I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to dream big, you need to be creative, be dynamic, and want to beat the odds and not have excuses. I think we really learned that this year. Campgrounds had 2 options when we were allowed to open this year. You could scale back and sort of live within your means, I guess, with what you opened or didn't open, or you could go big. And we chose to go big, and I think it paid off, because you have to gamble sometimes to be successful. And I think you have to think of the bigger picture and to see what the outcomes will, for the long term, will be.
Perfect. Carmen, are you happy, and what would you change?
I am happy, and I would change working with my husband. No.
But you don't really work with your husband because he just volunteers down there. So.
That's true.
It's-
What would I change? I don't think there's anything I would really change other than COVID-19 would definitely be a change. If I had my way, I would stagger people coming in on a Friday night, because we are deep in a valley.
So, just to campers who have, if you happen to see this video, my wife has told me relentless times about Friday nights and how people just come and there's lineups all the way up the hill, and she stresses about it dearly. You know, it's almost worth paying the extra $38 to come in on a Thursday, because how busy is it on Thursday usually?
Much less busy.
And you can sneak right in, be all set up, go home. Even if you went home and came back, and it would be so much less stressful for $38 that extra night.
True, sometimes.
And that's like $1 a day.
Yeah.
Hey, Carmen. So, continuing on here, what are some of those mistakes, and how could you have avoided them?
I think for me, some of the mistakes that I wish I have learned from and could have avoided was definitely figuring out our scheduling for staff a little better. It was such a crazy year, and it was such an unpredictable year, and I feel that we never really got a good solid hold on our schedule. It was always forever changing. And so to avoid that in the future, I think it's over schedule, because it's easier to cut back than to try and pull. And that was the other mistake, is I think because we are a seasonal operation, and so we kind of went on this idea that, you know, hiring employees, we would hire at the beginning and then that would last us through the season. And in this kind of economy, that's not actually true. And so we did not have our hiring practices consistent and follow us through the camping season to allow. We were lucky that the people that we ended with were awesome, and we definitely powered together to make that happen. But that came with a lot of stress and things that I wish I would have done differently for the staff this year.
Perfect. And how did you know when you had the right idea?
I would say, and again, learning through marketing, which I did not take as seriously as I should have in the beginning, Google reviews. I would say that we had come across this concept of having an elevated experience while you're camping. So whether you're a beginning camper or a long-term camper, or whether you wanted to be left alone in your campsite or completely catered to, we wanted to elevate that experience. And, you know, our initial concept was, you know, by doing deliveries to people's campsites. And that's really at the start as far as we'd went. But as we sort of fleshed out that idea of an elevated experience and how we could elevate it, I found that the response that we got through our Google reviews really showed that we were onto something, and that we had a concept that was working and that people liked and wanted to see more of.
Perfect. How did you handle adversity and doubt?
I think as a business owner, you always have a little bit of that, because things can change on a dime. And I think how I handle that is looking at always giving best practice and always looking at how to improve the business. Like even right now, people are like, oh, the campground's closed. You guys must have all this time on your hands. And I almost want to say I feel busier at sometimes, because we are just reevaluating everything and seeing how we can improve it and take things just to the next level for our customers. So even though we're not in the campground every day serving the customers and giving that elevated experience, we're reevaluating and researching and improving our processes so we can be the best each and every day.
And as a Alberta camper and Alberta glamper, how do you plan on growing your business?
So this year, like, we are adding some more amenities. We added a couple more campsites to the current campground, Willey West Campground. And we, in our 5-year plan, we have talked about, absorbing possibly 1 or 2 more campgrounds, and developing concepts that are within the elevated experience spectrum to provide different opportunities for campers across Alberta.
And how do you plan on building your team?
So I think team building and team is very important, as well as culture. And so how I plan to continue to build our team is through a positive work culture, having fun, and also just being clear, concise, and consistent. I feel it's very important that when people come into work, that they know what to expect. And that's the positives and the constructive feedback as an employer. And that's really important to me, that people feel that they can have that trust within their organization.
And how did you become a great leader?
Hard work. I think I won't even say I think. I know I became a good leader because I've learned to listen to people. I've learned to pay attention to people's strengths and understand their weaknesses and use that to their advantage as well as my advantage, and then help them grow those areas that maybe aren't as strong for them. And I think I spend a lot of time mentoring people. And so one of the 2 things I learned that I take to heart in my leadership is, one is my job is to really work myself out of a job, that I should be creating people that could take over my position at any given time. And the other thing that I learned, and I always say this is an interesting one, that if you're struggling with somebody that works for you and you feel that they're not working out, look in the mirror and say, I've done everything I can to help this person. And if you look at yourself and you can think of ways that you have not supported them, then you have to go back to the drawing board. And many times I've gone back to the drawing board because it's something that I've actually not helped support them in, and that they've actually come out stronger. And so being able to reflect on my behavior towards how I lead has been very helpful.
And have you personally experienced failures? And if so, what did you learn from them?
Oh, I think everybody experiences failures, and I definitely have. There's, in this year of becoming a entrepreneur, I think some of the failures that I hold most dearly to me is when customers are not satisfied with either me or the service that we're providing. I will admit I take that personally, and I have to find and am working on ways to get out of my head in those and really look at how I can take that feedback or that criticism and put my energy all into improving it versus sort of dwelling on it first and, taking it personally too much.
Perfect. And our final question for tonight will be, what's your approach to marketing?
Listen to your marketing coach. No, honestly, my approach to marketing is you need to have a marketer support you. I think it's I think it's easy for us all to think that we understand social media and we can put a website together and, we can ask people for Google reviews, but to actually understand how all that works is very difficult if you're not trained in that area. And so my approach to marketing is to listen to those people and also to understand where we're good at marketing and really put our energy into that. Hence why I don't like looking into this camera, but I do it because I understand the big picture of how this is going to help support and build our company.
Yeah, so again, I just want to, we gave a shout out earlier to Josh and Inspired Method Marketing and all those guys, but I want to reiterate that Inspired Method Marketing is really sets you on the right track of where you're supposed to be going with doing Google reviews and what time or what place and time you're supposed to do with it. So we want to say thank you to Trevor Salmons for his great wisdom and knowledge that he has put forth, and the energy and effort he has put into your company.
So. And the key difference, just to add on to that, is Trevor's not just our marketing. He's our marketing consultant. So he pushes us to learn and us to do the work. He doesn't necessarily do it for us. So that, for me, I think that shows that we have to be more invested and more in control of our own destiny, because we can't blame it essentially on our professionals, because at the end of the day, he's giving us the tools, and it's up to me with your support to make them happen.
Perfect. So my name is Jason, and this is my beautiful wife, Carmen. And I want to congratulate you on your this month's Women's Entrepreneur, and the article is on awe.com, and if you just
awebusiness.com.
awebusiness.com, and if you just look on there, it will have a picture of Carmen on there, and it says this month's feature. All right, I just want to say thank you and happy camping, and remember, Alberta camping and
Alberta glamping.
Take care.